Hey everybody, this is Alma coming to you from Long Beach, California. Today is Saturday, October 3rd. It's October 3rd of the year 2020. And this is my 39th FlossTube. So that was a Mean Girls, that was a failed attempt at a Mean Girls reference. So happy Mean Girls Day to all of you. It is my 39th video this time round. I want to welcome you all. Welcome back to any returning viewers and subscribers. Welcome to any new viewers. I hope that you like what you see, you find a reason to stay and subscribe, and to continue to follow me on my stitching journey. I want to thank you everybody for your continuing support. I did want to let you know that I do have a Buy Me a Coffee still open and available, so any support is greatly appreciated. I also, I did have a little bit of news regarding my channel. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done a Stitch With Me video. I was doing okay on doing them on a weekly basis, and then you know, school started and that went out the window. So I do miss doing those videos, and I do get a few of you messaging me asking, you know, where's the video this week. So what I've decided to do was just because of how much less time I have to stitch during the week because of school. What I've decided I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and alternate videos between the Stitch With Me's and the regular FlossTube updates. That way I can still, because I do like, again, I do miss making those videos for you. So what I'll do is I'll just do every other week will be a Stitch With Me. So this week will be just a regular FlossTube update, and then next Saturday I'll go ahead and do Stitch With Me. I still update on a semi-regular basis on Instagram, so you're always more than welcome to follow me there if you want to, you know, be up to date. But I figured that 2 weeks in between videos will give me plenty of time to give you guys more or have more significant updates to give you guys, because I still do have a little bit to show you, but not as much. So I figured I'm just gonna go ahead and do the alternating videos until either schoolwork kind of dies down, or at least I get a better bearing on my time management. But yeah, I do have a bit to show you guys, so without further ado, let's get to the stitching. I only worked on a handful of projects this week. The first one that I worked on is going to be a focus for the rest of the year. It is going to be a present, and if you've watched my videos, then you'll know, yeah, because I mention this pretty much every time. It's going to be a present, so I don't have a fixed date as to when I'm gonna give the present, but I would like the recipient to not be 20,000 years old when she gets it, and that is going to be a Heaven and Earth Designs chart. This is Mini Midnight Stroll. The artist is Julie Fain, and she does a lot of these designs with she has fairies, and she's got like hummingbirds and all sorts of things up against the full moon. So this is what I have so far. I would like to get 15,000 stitches done by the end of the year, but I'm kind of doing milestones. So first I want to reach at least 10,000 to see if I can make it. So far I have 2,000, so we're getting there. And I am working on this color by color, so pretty much every time I pick it up I get to finish a color, or at least finish a color in an area. generally they are pretty clumped together. There's not that much confetti stitching on this, but I do want to keep going further down this way, because if I do go this way, this is already the full moon right here. This negative space over here is the full moon. So I feel like I'll either do this area right here on the top, or just work my way to the bottom and then do the water down here. I don't know if I want to start on all those whites and grays and whatever color she's going to be using for the moon. But it's been easy going. It's pretty, again, since I am working on a color by color, it does go pretty fast. And I am using it for an ultimate stitching task in Magical Stitches. I believe that one is for a 4K task. It might be for a 5. I'm not sure. Either one. It's one of the larger goals. Actually, no, I'm using it for 10K. Never mind. I am using it for 10K. That's why I gave myself the milestone for 10K. Anyway, once the week, so that's going to be my weekend focus from now until forever and ever until I finish it. Once the weekend was over, I was able to go ahead and work on my other projects. The first one I picked up, of course, was my Tilt and Crafts chart, Snow Girl, and this is artwork by Danielle Kordek. If you've watched my videos, then you'll know this has been my focus all year. I've been working on this project all year for a challenge in the Full Coverage Fanatics Facebook group, which is to stitch 20,000 stitches in the year 2020. And if you watched my video last week, then you'll know that I was pretty close to hitting that goal. So of course I had to stitch on it until I managed to reach it. So whether you believe it or not, well, okay. Disclaimer, there is a border. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a border that goes, oh, sorry for the noise, that goes around all down. Yeah, it's a border. It goes all around the design. But besides the border, this is it. This is 20,000 stitches done in the year 2020. I believe that the actual total stitch count that I have is 21,543. That's because I already had some stitching done when I first picked it up at the beginning of the year, because the 2020 challenge started on January 1st. So prior to January 1st, I already had some stitching done, but as you can see, the apple is well on its way to being finished, and this was very much a case of trusting the pattern, just because there were some colors in here that I didn't know if they were gonna work quite well. The apple itself has some oranges in there that I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I stitched some of the reds around, and then I just went straight into the oranges. So it was one of those things where I could see the orange quite clearly, and because it didn't have the colors surrounding it, there was a lot of white space. It looked very jarring, and I was like, I don't know how this is gonna look. I don't know how this is gonna look. But I mean, once I added the rest of the colors, I mean, it turns out quite well. So yeah, with a lot of full coverage patterns, that's kind of the general, I don't know, advice that we give each other when we're unsure. It's just trust the pattern, because everything does turn out in the end, for the most part. But yeah, so this is going to be going away after stitching on it all year. I feel like it does deserve a little bit of a break. it's not so much that it deserves a break as other patterns deserve some love. But yeah, very happy with this, how this is turning out. And I mean, it's gonna come out in January eventually. It's not gonna be going away for too long. But the next pattern or project whip that I worked on is one. So again, sticking to the idea of finally giving other patterns some love. I did pick up a whip that I hadn't worked on in quite a while. This is Mystic Stitch Incorporated Change of Seasons 2, and I'm working on this with Zakia, Lady Wing Designs, here on FlossTube and Instagram. We both started this together, and the goal is to finish a quarter of this pattern by the end of 2021. So we're giving ourselves 8 years. We started this on Leap Day, so we're finishing it not by next Leap Day, but the one after, so in 8 years. So right now I'm still on the top left corner, so I'm working on autumn first. And I feel like since we are in autumn, that was kind of also why I felt called to stitch on this again. I mean, I knew it was coming because it hasn't gotten that much love in a while. But I did 500 stitches this week. Oh, I haven't given you stitch counts. Well, I did mention that for Midnight Stroll I did have 2,000 stitches done so far. For Snow Girl it was like 820 something stitches. Until I reached the 20 and 20 goal. This one I did 500 stitches this week, and I went ahead and just opened it up so you can see. This is just the edge of the pattern right here. And this one does also, like Midnight Stroll, does lend itself to working color by color. So I am trying to finish that one color first. Although I don't know, I might get bored. I might get bored and just start on the second color first, but yeah, I do hope to at least reach the goal of I'm using it for an ultimate stitching task for magical stitches, so I hope to be able to finish that one. I think I'm using it for one that's 5,000 stitch count total. So it would be nice to be able to do 5,000 stitches, because again, this hasn't gotten a lot of love so far. So I figured that needed to change. The last piece that I've been working on, or well, not the last piece, but the one that I've been working on for the last few days is my Hogwarts castle piece, and this is by Stitching Girl on Etsy. So I feel like every time I bring this out, I get the same type of messages and comments. This specific pattern is not available from her specifically anymore, but it is available, like the same image has been charted by other Etsy sellers. So if you want to stitch this image of the Hogwarts castle at night, it's still available in its like from other sellers, just not from this Etsy seller in particular. So yeah, just disclaimer, because again, I feel like every time I bring it out, I get people commenting and telling me, I'm like, yes, I know, it's probably still available. Anyways, I have done 700, oh my goodness, I'm just gonna unfold this. I've done 700 stitches on this so far. So we are in a new month, and that means that both Magical Stitches and Enchanted Stitching Challenge, the challenge groups, have released their October monthly challenges. I'm using this for an Enchanted Stitching Challenge, where for the month of October we're doing Hocus Pocus, since it's one of the more popular Halloween Disney movies. And one of the prompts is to stitch on something that has to do with either witches or with colonial times, since the film does start out with the Salem witch trials back in the 1692, 93. Actually, well, we're using 1693 because the prompt is to stitch 1,693 stitches on a witch or colonial time related piece. So I'm thinking, well, hey, like Hogwarts, I mean, a lot of witches learn magic and get their start in Hogwarts, at Hogwarts, so I'm rolling with it. And yeah, so like, as I mentioned, 700 stitches done so far, all in black. It's such a, like, I feel like I'm showing you such a boring thing right now, because it's literally all black. But I do hope to finish it later this week, so I can move on to the other prompts. There's 10 monthly prompts for Enchanted stitching, and for magical stitches we're giving an acrostic poem where we have to stitch on something to spell out the word odd sisters. So I still have to figure out what I'm gonna do for that one, if I'm gonna do it. But in the meantime, I'll do the ultimate stitching tasks, if anything, because at least those have higher stitch count goals. And for Enchanted stitching, they are like, some are like 1,000, like this one's the 1,693. There's another monthly prompt that's 1,000. There's another one that's 500. So they are higher stitch count goals, so I'll focus on those first as well. But yeah, that is all the stitching that I have to show you. I do have something else to show you as well, and I'm very excited about. I'm part of several groups on Facebook. There's one called Adopt a Whip. There's another one called Cross Stitch Barter. I forget what the official name is. I'll link it in the description box below if you are interested. For the Adopt a Whip, it's for people where, say you're working on a project and you just kind of fall out of love with it. You're able to post that whip on that group, so you can offer it up to somebody who is interested in finishing it. And just like with the barter group as well, you're able to kind of set your own terms. So say you're still interested in the final product, you're welcome to ask for the final product back. Again, you just have to like kind of state the intent when you post it, which is great, because I mean some projects, like I feel like all projects deserve to be finished one way or another. So if you start something and you personally don't feel like finishing it, there's probably somebody somewhere that is going to be happy to do it. And again, some people just fall out of love with it completely, so they're just like, keep the final project, it's fine. But sometimes they will ask for the finished product in return. And then there's a second group where it's a cross-stitch barter group. So at that point, you post what you have to offer, and then you kind of ask for something in return. So say you have a ton of cross-stitch kits that you don't necessarily want anymore, you're able to post those and say you're looking for fabric or floss, specialty floss or dye fabric, whatever. Or maybe like if you're looking for a specific brand of patterns, like if you want memorabilia patterns in return or something, anything. Again, you just have to kind of put it out there, make it plain and simple so that there's no confusion. And so on that Facebook group, somebody posted this little beauty. Oh, I'll go ahead and pull this out so you don't get the reflection as much. But somebody offered up a full kit. Yes, it is the full kit of Teresa Wentzler's English garden sampler, and I saw this on Brian's FlossTube. He split stitch here on FlossTube and Instagram. I fell in love with it completely. I looked forward to his updates on this on the daily. And he did finish it. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's stunning. But it was one of those things where, I mean, her designs are incredibly hard to find. Doubly so for the cross stitch kits, and when you do find them, they're like incredibly expensive. So when this lady offered it up for barter, I was like, yes please. And I gave her like a Christmas cross stitch kit that I wasn't particularly fond of anyways, and I also gave her a cross stitch book. Like, it was a pattern, it was a book with several like sampler and just primitive type stitching. That, again, like, I am starting to stitch samplers, but that's not generally my style. Both of those were a gift from somebody who just gave me all their stash because they didn't want it anymore. So, like, the fact that I was able to get this for things that I wasn't going to be stitching anyways was like, I mean, I think I was a very good trade. So I'm very excited that I was able to find it, and I did post about it on Virtual Stitchers, and found out that a few of my friends do have the several designs themselves that they were planning on starting. So we decided we're all going to start our Teresa Winslers together next month. So I'll hold off on it for November, which is fine because that's going to give me a little bit of time to work on my other projects, just because I didn't realize it until earlier this week that I meant to finish a ton of stuff that I didn't get to. My Haku piece specifically, I think I've been meaning to finish it since like August and I haven't even done that. So it's like, okay, that's fine. I'll make more progress on my current whips, and then I'll start Teresa Winsler in November. And I do have another bit of haul on the way. I got some 25 count fabric. I do want to start at least 2 more heights, but again, I bought the fabric back in beginning of August, and I haven't gotten my fabric back. I've been contacting the seller, kind of checking in periodically. I messaged her on Friday night, and she let me know that she has the fabric. So I'm just waiting for her to let me know that she shipped it. But yeah, so that's going to be for at least 2 more heights. It's going to be the Reader's Paradise and the A Stitch in Time, both of which are from Amy Stewart. And I also want to start another one. I'll be starting it with Tess from Tess Stitches. Hi Tess. So we were talking the other day, and I mentioned that, hey, so Heaven and Earth Designs did have a sale, and we mentioned that we both had, she got a pattern, and we found out that we both got the same pattern. So we'll both be starting it. I forget what. I don't think we've set a date. We just said we were gonna both start it the same day, but we both need to get the fabric for it. So neither of us is ready. So I'm hoping that the fabric I got, because I got 2 yards. It was a lot of fabric. It was 2 yards of the 25 count. So I'm hoping that's going to be enough for both Reader's Paradise, Stitch in Time, and hopefully this new one. It's Tea and Books. So I don't have the pattern with me, so I'll show it to you when I start it. But again, hopefully the fabric will be enough for all 3, because the first two are fairly big. They're both yeah, they're going to be, because Reader's Paradise is also supersized, by the way. So I'm gonna die. But yeah, we'll see. Again, I have to get the fabric first. I have to measure it. I feel like I kind of did the math in my head, but it always turns out different when you actually physically have the fabric. But we'll see. That's still in the works. I think that's all. Well, there's one more thing. Since we're already talking about plans, the Stitch Talk Facebook group, it's called Stitch Talk Hate Challenges, I think is the official name of it. It's a challenge group run by this wonderful young woman called Portia, and she has just announced the challenges for the year 2021. So one of the new ones that she's doing this year, I'm kind of excited about, is you have to stitch your way through your favorite book. So you have to pick your favorite book and you Google the word count, and that's how many stitches you have to do in the course of 2021. And you can do it by chapters. So you Google how many chapters there is and just divide the total amount of stitches by the number of chapters. I originally was gonna like go big and go home. I wanted, my favorite book is Hunchback of Notre Dame. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll just do Hunchback. I Googled the word count. Well, okay, some of them say it's like 180 something thousand stitches, and then some say 140,000 some stitches. Either way, it's a huge amount of stitches, and I feel like I won't be able to do it. So I have an alternative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until she releases the official rules and all the details, because obviously this was just like, it was like a video. It was like a 10-minute video where she just kind of made a general announcement about what was coming up. So obviously none of the details have been released just yet. So I think what I'm gonna do is, if we're allowed to use several heids, so say if we can do like a haid per chapter, I'll go ahead and use Hunchback, because I can use several heids, and that way like I can split up 180 something thousand stitches in several heids. But if we can't, if we can only use one haid, then I'll go ahead and move forward with Frankenstein, because especially now that we're doing the Stitching Book Club sampler for Frankenstein. Like I'm falling in love all over again. That is also one of my all-time favorite novels, and it's also much shorter, so I feel like that's also doable with just one pattern. But we'll see. Who knows, I may decide to not do it at all. But I did like the idea. Like, I thought it was a really fun challenge. So, but yeah, again, I'm gonna have to wait and see what the official rules are before I make any decisions. But yeah, like 2021 is looking like it's going to be a good year for stitching challenges. But yeah, so that is all that I have to share with you guys today. Sorry if I rambled a little bit towards the end about plans. But yeah, so next week will be a Stitch With Me video. It will not be a regular FlossTube update. Again, you are welcome to follow me on my Instagram page if you want to be up to date. And yeah, if you have any other questions or comments, I am always happy to answer them. It may take me a bit to answer them, but I do answer them. Again, you can always also reach out to me via Instagram if you want a quicker answer, I guess. But yeah, I'm always happy to receive the comments. So I wish you guys a very good weekend. I hope you have a productive week, and that you always find the time to do the thing that makes you happy. Until next time, guys.